Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of Reddit Podcast Stories, where today, Karen expects me to hide my scar because she doesn't want to see it. I, 24 female, had a cancer scare a few years back, and I had a biopsy done on my upper leg. The scar has now faded, but it is still fairly noticeable, and it's about 7 centimeters long. Thankfully, it was only a scare and nothing came of it. For a while, I was insecure about it, and I stopped wearing skirts or leggings where you could see the outline of the scar. But now that I've accepted it's going to be there, I started to wear whatever I want to, and I realized that nobody even cares about it apart from the odd question that I get. We went to the beach yesterday as a friend group, and I wore a swimsuit. I was excited to get a tan, and my friend Anna brought her other friend Dana, who's 25. I've met her before, but I don't know her very well. However, I do know that she started a fundraiser for her mom, who is fighting cancer right now. Dana's family situation is quite difficult, as her father passed away recently and her mom has stage 4, and Dana is juggling a lot. I arrived earlier than Anna and Dana, so I was already in my swimsuit when they joined us. Dana was nice to me and asked about my new job. Then Anna went to say hi to the others, and Dana mentioned my scar, and she recognized it was a biopsy. She asked if I could wear a cover-up as it was triggering to her and insensitive of me, as I know her mom is going through it right now. I said no, I'm here to get a tan, and the cover-up will ruin that, and Dana didn't say anything else, but didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. Today, Anna texted me, telling me that Dana told her what happened, and while she agrees Dana's comment was weird, I should have given her a free pass as she's not in the best place mentally right now. I said it was really weird, and no, I wouldn't. I genuinely don't think I'm in the wrong, and I think that she's being really weird about the situation. Obviously, if I am in the wrong, I will apologize. Not the jerk at all. While I feel for her and what she's going through, it's absolutely not okay to ask anyone to cover a scar. If someone has a trigger, it's their responsibility to handle it, not everyone else's to change for them. You're at the beach. It's completely acceptable that you wear your swimsuit, and good for you for not letting your scar deter you from what you want to do. Am I wrong for not giving my cheating wife another chance? I'm 39 male, and my wife, who's 33, we've been together for 13 years. She recently went away on a girls' trip. I was not worried at all. I've never had a reason to distrust her. She's never done anything to give me a cause for concern, and it's not like she was even going abroad. She was just going to a resort half an hour away, for goodness sake. She went with her sister and a few other girls. She called me up this morning, and I didn't expect anything other than her checking in. She's only been away one night of a 3-night trip. When I answered, she was crying and incoherent. When I finally calmed her down, she told me that she had hooked up with someone there the night before. Supposedly, she met this guy who she approached, they flirted a little and danced together, and she thought that was as far as it would go. But he supposedly just charmed her into a kiss, which turned into making out, which turned to her asking him to walk her back to her hotel, which turned into them hooking up. The guy was supposedly 10 years younger than her, and she said that she lied and told him she was going through a divorce. She says she doesn't know what came over her, and she just wanted to see if she still had it, but got carried away. 14 years, married for 10, and we have a 7-year-old daughter. I want to leave her. She's begging me not to, offering marriage counseling, never going out again, never drinking again, etc. I've always been a one-chance sort of guy. I just told her to go buzz off, and I've been ignoring her since about 10 a.m. Now her friends and sister are calling me too. They apparently had no idea she'd gone home with him. They saw them talking but thought nothing of it. I just want them all to leave me alone. I told my mom about it, and she said I should think of my family, and that my wife seems genuinely remorseful and didn't try and hide anything, and she came clean straight away. That it's not like she had an affair, and that as bad as it is, this is the best case scenario. After that conversation, I feel like I'm insane. Am I wrong for not even considering forgiving her? Update. So my wife came home tonight after giving me the day to cool off. I asked to see the guy. I don't know why, maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. And of course, he looks like a superhero, so that's great. For the record, my wife is beautiful, like perfect teeth, works out regularly, etc. I'm not ugly, but I'm just a typical English guy. I'm not overweight, but could probably lose a few pounds, bit of a dad bod, etc. Still have a full head of hair, which is nice. I always felt so lucky to be with her. She was an amazing partner, an amazing mother, funny, intelligent, etc. I asked her to lay out what happened next to me in more detail. I wanted to catch any lies or changes in the story and test her consistency. She basically says that she was at the bar and the guy was stood next to her. They glanced at each other and she said, "Where did you come from?" to him. He asked what she meant and she said he was the first handsome man she'd seen there. And that's how the conversation got started. As for her telling him she was divorcing, that happened when he glanced down, noticed her ring, and asked her about it. Apparently, once she said that, he went on to say, "Not like I care either way." What a gentleman. I asked her why she felt the need to see if she still had it, and she says that ever since she hit 30, she's been self-conscious of her aging. That when she spots a new wrinkle or something, it drives her to tears. She said that chatting to the guy made her feel young again, and she latched onto that. Also, apparently, the guy was there with a girl who my wife said looked like a younger version of herself, and the guy pointed her out to my wife and said, "That girl over there watching us has a crush on me," and laughed about it. After he had been talking to my wife for like 30 minutes, that girl had enough, walked over and kicked the table, spilling the guy's drink and then storming off. She says that the guy was picking her over the younger woman and that drove her ego crazy, and that was when she decided to kiss him. I asked her why she even told me, and she said that when she woke up, she saw I had sent her a selfie of me and our daughter eating pizza, and it sent her into a nervous breakdown. That she was wailing and sobbing so loud, it woke up her sister, and that's when she confessed. Her sister told her she was insane for what she did and wasn't very comforting, and then left the room mad at her, which made it worse, and that's when she called me. I have asked her to leave the house for a few days, and she's staying at her mother's house while I decide what I want to do. She begged me not to make her leave, but she did when I said it was the least she could do after blowing up our entire lives over wrinkles making her sad. As for my mother, she still thinks I should forgive her. For context, my dad passed about a year ago, and my wife really has been a rock for my mom. I cannot see her as much as I would like to due to my work, but my wife is a self-employed lash/nail tech and has a lot of free time, which she uses to spend with my mom, to keep her company, do her hair, and have girly days to try and make sure she doesn't get lonely. Like I said, she was a perfect partner. No, I don't think my mom is a cheater or whatever, and she is very angry at my wife, but she loves her, and she just wants everything to be okay. My daughter has no idea what's happening. She was already asleep when my wife came home and went again. She will just think that Mummy is still on holiday. I still have no idea what I'm going to do. Honestly, I'm still reeling, but that's basically everything. You are not wrong. If all it took were a couple drinks and a charming guy to get her to throw away her relationship and her family, it ain't worth it. Am I the jerk for hiding my wealth from my fiance and his family? My fiance, 28 male, is a doctor, and I, 28 female, work in finance. We both earn almost equal pay. We've been together for a year and a half, got engaged a month ago, and we're planning to have a wedding in 7 months. His family is full of doctors, while my dad owns a business. Mom is a stay-at-home wife, and brother, along with his wife, are high school teachers. My parents still live in a small townhouse my grandfather bought since the two of them grew up there, fell in love, had us, plus all of their friends live there. Basically emotional attachment. I never try to hide my wealth, I just don't show it off. For example, I prefer traveling by public transport because traffic and parking, while he drives a Range Rover. I have a Samsung, he makes fun of me for not owning an iPhone. I prefer not spending thousands of dollars on a dress that I'm only going to wear once. I also enjoy eating fast food rather than going to a Michelin star restaurant. I admit, I never really told them how much my dad earns as I just felt it was unnecessary. Anyways, I think him and his family assumed my family doesn't have much money or something. After getting engaged, we went to his parents' house for dinner where they asked me what I plan to do in the future. I replied that I'm planning to quit my job after the wedding and work for my dad. They kind of got confused, saying why would I quit such a high-paying job, and that if I'm planning to push all the financial burdens on their son, well, they asked for a prenuptial agreement, and I agreed. A couple of weeks ago, we started planning our wedding. In my culture, I'm Indian and he's white. We have big weddings. That's the only place we show off our wealth. My parents were discussing about how they want to invite over 250 people from our side since I will be taking over the business and it's networking. How they want to have 2 weddings, an Indian and a white. Now, Indian weddings have a lot of functions spanning 3 to 4 days, all of which would preferably be hosted at 5-star hotels, or if we follow my dad, he wants to rent a castle. My parents demanded that if we want to have an expensive wedding, we will be the ones paying, to which my dad agreed, saying he was going to pay for everything, even if they didn't ask. As the wedding planning proceeded, my fiance and his family realized we're spending way more than they can afford. I guess that's when it struck them that my dad's business isn't really as small as they expected it to be. They did a quick Google search and they found his company online and his net turnover every year, which is on the website and so on. Anyway, now his family is mad at me, saying, "Why did I hide the fact that I'm this rich?" I'm pretty sure they want to cancel the prenup. I'm not going to do that now though, since it was their idea. Well, his mom is basically harassing me, saying I misled their family and that I'm a jerk for trying to hide my wealth for so long. So, am I? Edit. My fiance has had a basic idea of my family's wealth. He knows about my dad's business. The in-laws did not. He agreed to the prenup when his mom brought it up. We had to talk about it and came to the conclusion that it would be good for both of us. Yes, he agreed to it despite knowing my family is wealthier. He is not on his mother's side. They are not close. I guess that's the reason he never told his family about my family's finances. He did talk to her and he's been defending me. It's just the constant remarks from her making me feel a little guilty, wondering if I did something wrong. I just wish to have a good relationship with my in-laws, but she's making it seem impossible. P.S. I know my dad's wealth is not mine. That's the reason I don't spend so much. As I said, I'm planning to quit my job and take over his business. Hence my mother-in-law sees the assets as mine. Not the jerk. They thought you were a gold digger. You protected yourself and your family from gold diggers by not flaunting your wealth. You and your fiance are well off. What's the issue? You are both protected by a prenup. I accused my fiance of cheating on me and I left our house. My fiance and I have been in a relationship for the past 6 years, engaged for the last 2 years, and are about to get married in November. On Monday, I woke up around 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and as I walked by my fiance's side of the bed, his phone went off with a message. I got curious and I looked. The message was from a girl called Angie. The message said, "It was good to see you again, and I had a lot of fun. We should do it again sometime." I took his phone with me to the bathroom and read their chats. Nothing flirty, but there were a bunch of conversations of meeting up at her place, what they did that day, all the fun they were having. I remember yesterday that I wanted to do something with him, but he couldn't as his sister was in town and they had arranged to meet and hang out for months now. He did invite me along, but I didn't go. Didn't want to take away from his time with his sister. My thoughts immediately went to him cheating on me, and I started to bawl like a baby in the bathroom. My fiance came rushing to the bathroom to see what was going on. I was not as quiet as I thought I was. When he got closer and asked what was going on, I told him to get away. He looked hurt in that moment and he took a step back. I gave him his phone and told him, "Explain yourself," through my tears. He took the phone, looked at it, and laughed. Then I saw him laughing. I got up and stormed out, locking myself in the spare bedroom. He came to the bedroom and through the door said he was sorry for laughing and tried to explain himself. Before he said anything else, I told him to leave. He then left to our bedroom. That morning, before he woke up, I grabbed some of my things and came to my sister's house. I've been here since Tuesday morning, too afraid to go home. He sent me a message that morning saying he heard and saw me leave, but didn't want to stop me because of what happened the night before. Again, he said sorry for laughing, but the situation was just ridiculous in the moment, and his tired brain responded with laughter. I sent back some hurtful things and that he's a cheater. He responded with, "Angie is a nickname for my sister, Angelina." He told me to confirm with his sisters if I didn't believe him, and told me to check Facebook and Instagram if I need proof, because pictures were posted of their meetup yesterday. He didn't say anything to the hurtful thing I said to him or anything. But he told me that the house is open for me to come back anytime I like to, and when I do, we will have a serious conversation about what happened and what will happen going forward. I'm scared to go home because I feel like he will be breaking up with me, and I don't want that. How can I handle this? I know I was wrong for the way I acted. I acted like a kid. I overreacted. How can I fix this? What can I do now? How did you not put Angie and Angelina together as the sister of the man you're about to marry? Especially when he told you he was meeting with his sister and invited you to go. Sorry, sis, but this is your own idiotic fault. Edit. Especially since y'all have been together for 6 years. You mean in all of that time, you've never heard him call her Angie? Even if you hadn't heard him call her Angie before, you knew that his sister's name was Angelina, which is obviously very similar, and that she was in town and he'd been hanging out with her, and you immediately jumped to assuming he was cheating? I'm sorry, but this is an insane reaction. If he doesn't break up with you, you need to get yourself into therapy ASAP and figure out where this knee-jerk reaction came from. In fact, you really should do that either way because this level of trust issue in an otherwise stable 6-year relationship is not normal, unless you're leaving out something huge like past infidelity. OP, nothing like that at all. He's always been loving and has never hid anything from me. We know the password to every device each other owns. My husband of 19 years doesn't trust me and can't get over me kissing another guy 23 years ago. I met my husband when I was 23. We're now 46, me, and he's 47. And we've been married for 19 years and we have 2 kids. The circumstances surrounding the commencement of our relationship are complex. I was unfaithful. It happened due to me being in a bad place mentally at the time we met. Edit. I'm not using this as an excuse. I was in the wrong. I was young and immature, and I wasn't ready for a committed relationship. I wanted to live the single life. My coping mechanism was denial, and I led a double life for a few weeks in the first few months after we started dating. I flirted with a guy at work, and I kissed him 3 times. If guys were interested in me, I teased. But other than the kisses I mentioned earlier, I didn't hook up with anyone except my husband. I was 23, I was stupid. Eventually, I came to my senses and I came clean. My husband and I had fallen for each other hard and quickly. I wasn't ready for a committed relationship, but I was in love and wanted to make things right. He initially wanted to break up with me. I left the decision up to him. He asked me to cut off all contact with the other guys, and I did. I even cut off most of my friendships and social circles to demonstrate how sorry I was and to help regain his trust. And since then, I have not done a single thing to give him any doubts of my fidelity. I greatly regret my actions, and I would give anything to repair the hurt I caused my husband. He eventually said that he forgave me and we could move on together. We had a great relationship and married 4 years later. Fast forward 23 years, and he still brings up the events of our early relationship whenever we have an argument. He keeps trying to get me to confess that I hooked up with someone else. I didn't. Our marriage has disintegrated. We have 2 kids with disabilities, so the focus for a long time has been them. We have no connection, and we're not in a happy marriage. I now have early onset Parkinson's disease, so things are hard for me, but I still work and still manage the bulk of the kids' disabilities and the mental load. A year ago at Christmas, he blew up at me and said he wanted a divorce. He said that I was too controlling and he had had enough. The trigger was me staying up late cooking gingerbread cookies and then tidying up the toy room. Parkinson's keeps me awake at night, so I decided to get some chores done. It kept him awake. I didn't realize that it was such a problem. The next morning, as I was rearranging things in a different way than he wanted, he blew up at me. He got drunk, ruined family Christmas, and made a total mess of himself. The past got brought up again, and he wanted revenge. He stole Christmas money that was gifted to me so that he could use it for a hookup. I stayed calm throughout it all, tried to keep him safe and defuse the situation, despite the hurt I was feeling. He ended up not following through with the hookup, and he returned the money the next day. The next day, once he sobered up, he apologized. He said that he wasn't coping mentally, and he didn't mean what he said. I forgave him and supported him. He said he would organize marriage counseling, but he hasn't, and stayed sober for a year. He saw a counselor at work for himself twice, but didn't follow up on ongoing sessions. Now he has started drinking again. He doesn't do it to excess, but he has a few every night. We haven't hooked up in years, and we have no connection. We live parallel lives. He has his own hobbies and enjoyment. I manage the kids and their disabilities and try to manage my disability too, but I struggle to find the time due to all of my efforts going towards the kids and even him. My disease is so bad that even walking is a challenge, but I push on alone for my kids. I listen to any problems he has and offer support. I have lots of problems too, but I don't bring them up. I keep everything inside as I'm too afraid to let him in. My home life and my career are in tatters. I'm slowly losing everything that once made me me. I was in a bad place late last year and wanted to end things between us. He said he'd arranged counseling, but he hasn't, and we talked about what we could do to get back on track. But unless I initiate things, they don't happen. I see a counselor on my own to help me deal with my disability. Myself and the kids have a disability support worker who's single and spends a lot of time supporting our family. On Saturday, my husband invited her around to make kombucha together. I told him that I had to take the kids to the pediatrician and wouldn't be home. He still invited her, and she came over while I wasn't home. Then I found a text message from her for his birthday, signed with a kiss. Edit. She's close to our family, so this may have been an innocent thing. But I was upset and uncomfortable about these 2 things, and I told him so. He apologized and then brought up what happened 23 years ago. Again, it happens whenever we fight or whenever I bring up an issue. He even went through old photo albums to look for evidence of me cheating on him. He didn't find anything as there's nothing to find. I feel like I've been the perfect wife and have stuck by him and forgiven him on many occasions, but he has still not forgiven me for something I did 23 years ago. He tells me he loves me, but I don't feel that he does. I think he's staying with me only for the kids and because I do all of the life admin. I pay all of the bills, organize all of the medical care for our kids, school admin, calendar, paperwork, etc., while holding down a job and dealing with a worsening disability. I'm so exhausted by it all. Can we ever recover from this? If he can't trust me now, will he ever trust me? He knew what you did before marrying you. He still married you. To continue to bring it up is not fair. This is why you break up when trust is broken, instead of making draconian boundaries and trying to rebuild it. My husband gave me an ultimatum. Stop being a people pleaser or we're getting a divorce. How do I even respond? My husband and I met 7 years ago at the same university, started dating a year after that, and we've been married now for 2 years. Other than this one issue, we get along very well and we're generally really happy and good with each other. I will admit that I do have people-pleasing issues. I'm not really sure why. I think I'm just overly nice. My husband and friends have told me I can be a doormat to people. I always apologize first, I don't tend to argue with people, and I've been known to go out of my way to do something not explicitly necessary. I know this about myself. My husband clearly knows this about me too, as I've always been this way. He's encouraged me to figure out why I am this way, and one time, a long time ago, he yelled at a friend of mine who was taking advantage of me in that sense, but that's about it. I'm also a pediatric oncology nurse at a really large hospital in a central city in my area. As you can imagine, my job is pretty taxing, emotionally and physically. I recently got a new charge nurse, and she's not very nice. I complain to my husband often about it. Last night, I was laying in bed, doing like absolutely nothing. My husband comes into the room, so stressed and angry looking, and snaps at me. "You need to stop being such a doormat, or I have to leave. Seriously, it's getting annoying." I was shocked and also confused, since we hadn't been talking about anything like that. I asked him what he meant, and his tone did make me immediately tear up. He's never yelled at me like that before, blatantly rude. He rolled his eyes and told me, "Your job, your friends, this marriage, all you do is lay down and let people walk on you." I said, I don't mean to do that, and I'm sorry, but he just stormed out of the room after that. He left to work so early this morning, we didn't even have a chance to talk. He sent me a text this morning, and all it said was, "I'm sorry, we're gonna talk tonight." Like, what does that even mean? I'm so distraught, I can't believe that he yelled at me like that. What am I even supposed to say now? I mean, going to therapy if that's what he really wants me to do, but I doubt I'm gonna change. I've always been this way. Is my marriage doomed then? I have a best friend who is a people pleaser, and I notice she hates letting down anyone except for the people closest to her. She's comfortable disappointing and saying no to her dearest loved ones, but not her acquaintances or coworkers. As a loved one, it can make it feel like you are deprioritized in their life, and then you also have to watch people walk all over them to boot. I wonder, OP, if maybe you too are like this with your husband. My entitled mom tries to force me to clean my room on a Saturday. I, 16 female, live with my mom who's 47. We've always had very different ways of living. I prefer to let things get really messy and then clean them up, and she prefers to clean as she goes. As a high school student taking a couple of advanced classes, my week can get pretty stressful, and I figured out early in the year that I need something to look forward to during the week, aka what I call a rest day, where I do absolutely nothing at all but read, watch TV, and eat snacks. Right now, this day is a Saturday, as I have school during the week and I work on Sundays. My mom has never understood this. Today, Saturday, I agreed to do a couple of small chores, but stopped there. Earlier, she asked me to clean off my dresser in bed, a task that would take at least an hour, so I politely told her that today is my rest day and I'm not doing it. Also, my neck and arm are really hurting because I apparently did something while doing another chore, so I wasn't having it. She got upset and said that it wouldn't take me that long and I should just do it. I told her no, repeating that I need 1 day a week to just decompress and do nothing. She then started yelling that in that case, I need to pick a day to do cleaning. I decided on Wednesday, as that's normally my most free day of the week. She then started lecturing me that she doesn't want to hear me complain come Wednesday. A few hours later, she saw me on the couch watching a movie while she was mopping and said, "You know, I was planning on doing some of that cleaning together, but if you do it later, then it's just going to be you." She then started lecturing me again about how she doesn't get a rest day and kept muttering under her breath and trying to get me to do it today. So, am I the jerk for refusing? Edit. I think some people got the wrong idea, so I'll try to clear things up. Firstly, when I say stuff is on my bed, I mean the back of my bed, like the headboard. There's a built-in shelf. I don't eat in my room, so there's no food or dishes sitting out. Mold is one of my biggest pet peeves. My room absolutely doesn't smell, and there's nothing on the floor. My mom and I made the arrangement of rest days months ago when I realized my mental health was in decline. I needed something to look forward to. My mom supported this decision. Because of this, I do more schoolwork and chores during the week. The reason I estimated it would take an hour for me to finish is because a lot of the general clutter on my desk doesn't have a place to go. I have a bunch of books up there, and my bookshelf is full. Where do they go? I have some souvenirs from camp, and my desk is full. Where do they go? Hopefully, you can see the reason this would give me a lot of anxiety. I also had no idea that my room bothered my mom so much. Lastly, I don't completely disregard the rules of the household. If I make something for lunch, I clean it up, regardless of what day it is. If it's Saturday and my mom asks me to take out the trash or do some other small chore that will take less than 5 minutes, I'm in. And for those of you who are curious, the clutter has not spread out of my room. Hopefully, I gave some more context here. You're the jerk. If your dresser and bed are getting so messy it would take an hour to clean them, you need to be cleaning more consistently. Your mother shouldn't have to be hounding you to make that happen. Stop being a slob, and she won't have to micromanage when things get done, and you can rest when you please. She just doesn't understand? Oh honey, she does understand. And I promise, your mom never gets a rest day where she doesn't have to do anything at all, not even for an hour. You're the jerk, but you're 16, so it's kind of expected. You're the jerk. Clean your room. It's not cute to be messy and gross. All the TikToks about depression rooms have encouraged the idea that it's cool to live in squalor. It isn't, and it often makes the house smell. If you don't want to do it every Saturday, then keep it clean on a daily basis. When you move out, you can then be a slob to your heart's content. Not the jerk. My mom used to try pulling this crap on me too. Eventually, it got so bad that I straight up told her if she didn't lay off, I'd start spreading lies about her boyfriend that would totally ruin their lives. She started crying and asked how I could say such a thing. I told her straight up, you push someone far enough, don't be surprised when they bite back. Well, long story short, my mom got out of hand again about a month later, telling me to clean my cat's litter box, even though I had already changed it out twice that month. I held true to my word, and her loser boyfriend decided their relationship wasn't worth dealing with the backlash of me and my drama after I told everyone in the family some horrible things about him. Yeah, they were all lies, but I'm a good liar. Now my mom is depressed, but at least I can watch my anime in peace now and stay in goblin mode. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her mom? Please let us know. You ever start to wonder if those child-free people are onto something? Am I the jerk for not letting my friend bring his service dog over? I'm male, 39. My friend, male, 38, recently got a service dog. It's a diabetic alert dog. The issue arises in that he wants to bring it to my house when I host hangouts and parties. I'm not much of a dog person and really don't want it in my house. It's a breed that sheds a lot, and I don't want to have to deal with dog hair in my house. Also, my kids regularly play in our yard, and I don't want them to encounter any of the mess that the dog would leave behind. I've spent the last 10 years in this house turning it into a place my friends, family, and I could hang out. I have a pool, I built a bar in my basement, those types of upgrades. I offer to meet out at a restaurant or someone else's place and to host less, but my house is the preferred destination among everyone else. I have amenities that others don't, and there are no expensive food and bar tabs at my place. I host a lot during football season and other major sporting events, with some general hangouts in between. I told my friend that his dog wasn't welcome. I offered to pay for a monitoring device he can use while at my house, but he didn't take that offer well. He let me know he wasn't happy and recently missed our Super Bowl get-together. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. It's your home. You can invite whoever you want. You have a no-dog rule. You actually made an effort to accommodate him. He hasn't always had this dog, so what was he doing before? He can ask and you can say no. Obviously, don't be surprised if your friendship changes or goes away completely. You're going to get a lot of "you're the jerk" votes just because it's a legitimate service dog, but people fail to realize you can't force your dog in private homes. That is your space to do as you please. Do this next. Tap here on your screen to come see our new podcast playlist, where you'll find thousands of hours of the best stories you've ever heard. Or tap the one on the right. That episode is specifically just for you, based on other videos you've enjoyed the most.